Now, our next topic is osculating sphere. So, what is the osculating sphere? Clear? So, basically, it is a sphere which has 4 points of contact with the curve at point P. So, that is called a osculating sphere. So, remember, it has 4 points of contact. It has 4 points of contact with the curve at a point P. That sphere is called a osculating sphere. The second name of this sphere is called sphere of curvature. So second name is called sphere of curvature. Now in the case of osculating circle, it has 3 points of contact. But in the case of osculating surface sphere, it has 4 points of contact. So remember this thing. Now, what is the equation of this osculating sphere? How we can find the equation of osculating sphere? Now, from this, if C is the position vector of a center of the sphere, if it is the position vector of the center of the sphere, and R is the position vector of any point on the sphere. Clear? So capital C, this is a small c vector, which is a position vector of center of the sphere, and small r, which is the position vector of the any point on the sphere, and capital R, which is a radius. So what is the equation? So equation can be written in this form is, which is R minus C vector, which is equal to R. So that is defined in equation number 1. So point of intersection of sphere with the curve. What is curve? This is a curve R equal to R by S, R of S, which is given by f of s, which is equal to rs minus c raised to power 2 minus r square equal to 0. So remember this equation f of s, which is a equation of which is a equation which point of intersection of sphere with curve. Clear? So this is a point of intersection of sphere with curve that is given by this equation. So remember this equations so that we will used in many equations. Clear? So this is f of s. So remember what is f of s? F of s is equal to r of s minus c raised to power 2 minus r square. Clear? So that is the value of this function. Now this has will have 4 points of contact. So remember it has 4 points of contact. If it has 4 points of contact, the sphere will have 4 points of contact with the curve. So then f of s equal to 0, its first derivative is 0, its second derivative is 0, and its third derivative is 0. Clear? So the first, second, and third derivative will be 0 because it has 4 points of contact. If it has 3 points of contact, then f dash s is equal to 0, f double dash s is equal to 0. Now, if f is equal to 0 from this equation, using that is very important equation, this equation we can define this equation, which is equation number 2. Clear? Now, if f dash s is equal to 0, now differentiate this equation with respect to s. So we get 2 times r dash dot product r minus c, which is equal to 0 vector. So which is equal to 0. Now what is r dash? This r dash which is equal to this r dash which is equal to t vector. So this we can write it as t vector dot product, this is dot product r minus c vector. So what we get? We get r minus c vector is perpendicular to t vector. So that is equation number 3. So remember, this is again very important result that we will use later on. Clear? So this is equation number 2 that will also be used later on, and this is equation number 3. Now from this, now what is the third derivative? Again differentiate this equation with respect to s. So this is a equation. We differentiate this equation with respect to s. So what we get? We get r double dash, which is r double dash dot product r minus c, and this is r dash dot product r dash, which is equal to 0. Clear? So r double dash means t dash. This is a t dash. And r minus c means r vector minus c vector. And this is a t dot t product, these values. And this will be become a 1. Its value will be become a 1. So this term will be equal to minus 1, right? So yeah, or we may write it as if this sum is equal to 0. So this sum is equal to 0. Clear? So in the right, so this sum is equal to 0. Now what is the value of t dash? So this is a t dash. Clear? So this is value of t dash. What is value of t dash? Which is kappa n, kappa n, that is by Freenet formula. So this is r minus c dot kappa n vector plus 1, which is equal to 0, right? So this kappa is taking on right hand side. So we get r minus c dot product n, which is equal to minus 1 by kappa. So which is equal to minus rho. Clear? So that we get the equation number 4. So again this equation is very important, that we get from the second derivative, so that we will use to find the values of lambda and mu. So later on. Clear? So remember this result also. Now if third derivative is 0, now again differentiate this equation, now this equation, now differentiate this equation. So what we will get? So we get, if we differentiate this equations, so this is a r minus c dot n dash. Clear? So first we differentiate this term n, and then r dash, it is a derivative of r minus c dot n vector, which is equal to, so here it is minus rho dash. So this is a minus rho dash. Okay? So this value is equal to this value. Now substitute the value of n dash. What is n dash? Which is a tau b minus kappa t. Again substitute the value of r dash. What is the value of r dash? Which is equal to t. These values. Clear? Now this t dot n product, then t dot n dot product, this term will be equal to 0. Why? Because t and b are the orthogonal axes. If they are orthogonal axes, they are perpendicular to each other. If they are perpendicular to each other, then the dot product of t with respect to n and with respect to b is equal to 0. So we get the dot product of this term is equal to 0. Clear? Now, in the next step, if this value is equal to minus rho dash, now in the next step, this is from the first term. This is r minus c dot product tau b. This can be written as in this form. Clear? And in the next second step, this can be written as r k kappa r minus c dot product t vector. Clear? So by equation number 3 that we already written in equation number 3. So this product is equal to 0. Clear? So by equation number 3, this term is 0. Clear? If this term is 0, what we get? We get r minus c dot product v vector, which is equal to r minus c, which is equal to rho dash, this rho dash minus rho dash, and over 1 by tau. So this tau is shifted to right hand side. So this is 1 by tau. If it is 1 by tau, 1 by tau is equal to sigma. So this value will become a minus sigma into rho dash. Clear? So from this, what we get? We get r minus c. From this, we get r minus c dot vector b vector, which is equal to minus sigma into rho dash. So we get r minus c dot product v vector, which is equal to minus rho sigma into rho dash. That is equation number 5. Clear? So again it is very important that we will use later on. So third, fourth and fifth equation, these are important and we will use in the next step, in the next pages. Now after that, after that, since we know that r minus c vector, which is perpendicular to t, because we prove that this dot product is equal to 0. If this dot product is equal to 0, then it lies in a normal plane. If it is perpendicular to this, then it lies in a normal plane. So what is normal plane? Normal plane is a linear combination of n and b vector. Why it is linear combination of n and b vector? Because in the three product, in the t and b, we have three mutually perpendicular axes. So if this direction is, t, this is t, and this direction is n, and this direction is b. Clear? So this direction is n direction, and this direction is t direction, right? And this direction is a b direction. Clear? So this plane is called a, this plane is a normal plane. Clear? So if this plane is a normal plane and this plane is a osculating plane, we know that this plane is a osculating plane, right? If this plane is osculating plane, this plane is osculating plane, and this plane is a rectifying plane, and this plane is a normal plane. This is a normal plane. If this is a normal plane, then it is a combination of n and b vector. So if it is a combination of n and b vector, so we can write r minus c as a linear combination of lambda n plus mu b, where lambda and mu are scalar. So this equation can be written in this form. Clear? So here we have r vector, we have c vector, we have lambda vector, we have n vector plus mu and b vector. So that is our required equation. But this equation will be at final stage when we will find the value of lambda and mu. Now how we can find the value of lambda? If we will take the dot product with n, then we will find the value of lambda. If we will take the dot product with the b vector, then we will find the mu. Clear? So taking the dot product, first take the dot product with n vector. If we will take the dot product with n vector, so this will become r minus c vector dot product n vector, and this is dot product. This term will be 0 and this term will be lambda vector. And by equation number 4, that I already said, okay, remember this result, that equation number 4, this value is equal to minus rho. So from this we get the value of lambda. Clear? Now in the second step, to find the value of mu, now taking the dot product with b vector, if we take the dot product of v vector, so this is r minus c dot b vector, so this is a mu. Now again by equation number 5, clear? We know the value of this result, which is a minus sigma into rho dash. Clear? Then substitute the value of this result in equation number, that is in equation number 5. So we get the value of mu. If we get the value of lambda and we get the value of mu, then this equation is a now final equation. Now what is the final equation? Final equation is this is C vector, this is C vector, which is equal to R vector plus rho n dash, rho n vector, not n dash, rho n vector, and plus sigma into rho dash into B vector. Clear? So it is a position vector of center of osculating sphere. So what is C? C is the position vector of a center of osculating sphere, and R is the position vector of any point on the curve C. Clear? So that is our required equation. So remember this equation, that is very important for properties, the equation of osculating sphere. Clear? So equation of osculating sphere is C vector, which is equal to R vector plus rho vector rho n plus sigma rho dash into B vector. Now after that, we want to find the radius of curvature, the value of R. Now to find the value of R, we know that this R minus C raised to power 2, this is R minus C raised to power 2, which is equal to R square. Clear? We know that this values. Now this term can be written as R minus C dot product R minus C. So what is the value of R minus C? That you know that. So from this, you find the value of R minus C, which is minus time rho n vector minus sigma rho dash v vector. So this is value of R minus T. So substitute the value of R minus C. What we get? We get this is a rho n vector plus sigma rho dash v vector. Similarly, dot product with this values, and minus is cancelled with minus. So this will become a this term. What is this? This is a rho square plus sigma square rho dash square, and from this equation we get the value of R. So what is R? R is radius. From this equation we get the value of R. So from this article we get two equation. One is the value of R and second is the equation of the position vector of center of oscillating sphere. And this is a radius of oscillating sphere. That is a C is a position vector of center of osculating sphere, and what is R? R is a radius of osculating sphere. Now remember these two results that will be used in the property that are very important for examination point of view. So now the properties. So property number 1. So just see what is the properties. So property number 1, okay, this T1 vector, clear? This T1, N1 and B1, these are related to curve C1. So remember, clear? And this T and B, these are related to curve C. Now our purpose is to prove that this T1, which is parallel to B vector, clear? This is B of C, this is T1 of C1, and this N1 is parallel to N vector. So it means they are on same line of direction, but this B1 is parallel to T vector. Clear? And this is property, first property, remember it, and that will be used in the next property and the questions. Now first, as we already done that, what is the C? Clear? What is the C? C is the position vector of any point on C1. Clear? Where basically it is the center of sphere, center of sphere. Now, if C1 is treated as R1 vector, if C1 is treated as R1 vector, then the equation will be R1 vector, which is equal to R vector plus rho n plus sigma rho dash into B vector. So that is the equation that we written in equation number 1. So simply we replaced C by R1 vector. Clear? So there is no big change. So just replace C with R1 vectors. Clear? If we replace this, now we can differentiate R1 vector with respect to S1. So that is arc length of C1 curve, and we can differentiate these with respect to S, because these are related to curve C and this is related to curve C1. Now differentiate this equation with respect to S1. If we differentiate this equation with respect to S1, so in the left hand side we get dr1 and ds1. Now the entire term on the right hand side we can differentiate through s. So first differentiate this term with through s and multiplied by ds into ds1. Clear? So what we get, it is a first derivative, that is a r dash. Now it is a product function. So we first differentiate n, this is rho n dash, and then rho, which is rho dash into n vector, and again it is, so we can also treat it as a single parameter. So this can be written as first derivative of b, then derivative of this. Also we can use this derivative and this derivative. Now we used here sigma rho dash b vector, and here sigma dash rho dash b vector, and here sigma rho dash into b dash. Clear? After that, now what we will do? Now we will substitute the value of n dash. This is n dash. Clear? And this is a b dash. Clear? So we have only two values. One is n dash, second is b dash. Now this from n dash, by using the Freenet formula, this n dash is equal to tau b minus kappa t. This is tau b minus kappa t. Clear? So substitute the value of n dash by using Freenet formula. Similarly, here substitute the value of b dash. So what is b dash? B dash is a minus tau n vector. So when we substitute these two equations, so one is minus tau n and second is tau b minus kappa t vector. Clear? Other are simple n, v and t vector. Clear? Now we combine the coefficient of t vector and then coefficient of n vector and then coefficient of b vector. Okay. Now combining all these coefficient of t, n and b vector, so what we get? We get from this first term 1 minus kappa rho into t vector. So we get this values from the coefficient of t vector. If this is a coefficient of t vector plus second term, so what is second term? It is rho dash into n vector plus sigma rho dash, that is combined form, into b vector. Clear? Plus rho tau, this rho into tau, and minus rho dash sigma tau into n vector. Now, from this remember, this kappa and rho, they are reciprocal to each other. Clear? If this product is equal to 1, if this product is equal to 1, then 1 minus 1 equal to 0. So this term will be 0. Remember, this term will be 0. Clear? Why this term will be 0? Because kappa tau is equal to kappa rho is equal to 1 and 1 minus 1, which is equal to 0. Yeah. So this term will be removed. Now from this This will be remain in part of the equation. This will be remain in part of the equation. This will be a part of equation. This will be part of equation. This will be part of equation with some modification. What is that modification? What is tau? This tau is, what is tau? This tau is 1 by sigma. Clear? And this is sigma. So again this product is equal to 1. If this product is equal to 1, then this product will be rho dash into n vector. So this product will be rho dash into n vector. Clear? So we get this equation, this equation, this equation, this equation, and this equation. Now adding the coefficient of b vector, which is this and this. Clear? Then adding the coefficient of n vector, that is this, which is rho dash, plus this. This is plus and this is minus. Clear? So adding these and these, all these terms, what we get. So see in the next page what we will get. So we get this values because the term of n will be 0 and term of t is 0. So what we get? We get here, we get this is t1, which is r1 dash, that will be converted into t1 vector, and this will be rho by sigma plus sigma rho dash, because it contains two terms, first term, second term, into b vector, and coefficient of n is 0, coefficient of t is 0. So remaining term is only vector of b of vector coefficient of b vector. So this is a remaining term. Okay? So this equation will be completed if we will find the value of ds by ds1. Right? If we will find the value of ds by ds1, then this equation will be completed. Or we can say that t1 vector we can find in term of b vector. Clear? So how we can find the value of ds by ds1? So remember this, how we can find these values. So that is very simple way. So taking dot product of t1 vector, because it will be become a 1. So 1 is equal to t1 vector dot t1 vector. Taking dot product of this equation, when we get the dot product of this equation, or we can shift this equation into this on the left hand side. So what we get t1 ds1, this values, into rho by sigma into sigma rho dash into b1, this values. Clear? This values. Clear? So first find how we can find the ds1 by ds. So taking dot product of this equation. So we will get from this, we will get this dot product, right? This dot product. So this will get rho by sigma plus sigma by rho dash and raised to power 2. So this is a value of this ds1 by ds that we will use later on, right? Now before going to this term, that is just idea I have given to you, that how we can find the value of ds1 and ds. Now from this equation number 1, if now this from equation, what we get, this is a multiplication of t1 vector, this is a multiplication of b vector. So what we get, this is a multiplication of b vector, this is a multiplication of t1 vector. It means they are parallel to each other. If they are parallel to each other, we get this vector t1 is parallel to b vector. So remember, that was our aim. That was our aim. T1 is parallel to b vector and b1 is parallel to t vector, but n1 is parallel to n vector. So that was our aim. Clear? So similarly, we can find the value of ds1 by ds whole square, that is equal to this values, clear, that we already discussed, clear. So this is very important value that we will use in this equation to find the value of a t1 vector, clear. So that's why I am stressing on this ds1 by ds, because it will be helpful in the many terms in many equations. After that, when we go to after that, our purpose is n1 is parallel to n vector. This is n1 is parallel to n vector. Clear? So before going to this term, so our first n1 is parallel to n vector. So here is missing something. No, clear? So from this, so in that case, here it is missing something. Now from this we find the value of ds1, okay, that we already discussed, ds1, this values. Now substitute this values, yeah, from equation number 1 and 2. When we substitute this value, we get t1 vector is equal to b vector, clear. From this we get this values. Now again differentiate this with respect to s1. Now we will differentiate this through s. Now it is again multiplied by ds into ds1 by using the value of b dash, which is kappa n1. No, this is a value of t1 dash, which is kappa n1, right? And what is the value of b dash, which is a minus tau n? So that is in term of 1, that is in term of simple. From this, we get n1, which is equal to minus tau by kappa 1 into n1 vector. Again, this result is very important. And also it proves our second part. What is second part? n1 should be parallel to n. Clear? So that will be proved. n1 is parallel to n. Clear? And also this is very important result. So remember this result as in equation number 4. Now from this, what we get? We get n1 is parallel to n vector. Clear? So that we, now this is n1 is parallel to n vector. Now again, to find the value of ds by ds1, so just taking dot product, just taking scaling their dot product. So what we get? We get this equation. That is very simple way to find out these values. From this we can find the value of ds by ds1. Now substitute this values. We get n1, which is equal to minus n vector, and also we know that t1, which is equal to b vector, that we already proved that. If we already proved that, now the third term is remaining, which is b1 vector. So we find the value of t1, we find the value of t1, we find the value of n1, and third term is required, which is b1 vector. So how we can find the value of b1? We can find the value of v1 from these two equations. How we can find it? Now we know that this v1 vector can be written as minus t1 cross n1 vector, right? So we can write it as in this form. This is minus t1 cross n. Now what is the value of t1? The value of t1 is, this is v1 vector. And what is value of n? Now n, the value of n1 is minus n. So minus here, it will be converted into plus. This is minus. So total term will be plus t. So this will be plus t vector. If this is v1 vector which is equal to t vector, it means v1 is equal to t1. Also v1 is parallel to t vector. So what we get? We get the third term. First term was t1 is parallel to v, and second was n1 and n are parallel to each other, but they are opposite in direction. And third is v1 is parallel to t vector. So that is our first property. So that is very important result, and remember that result that we will use in the next article. Now property number second. So mathematical, what is its property? Mathematical, the property is simply tau into tau 1, which is equal to kappa into kappa 1, right? So torsion of C1 and curvature of C and curvature of C1, their product will be same. Now what we get? We know that this result. So remember that result. If we know this result, v1 vector is equal to t vector. So differentiate again. Our next step is differentiate. If we differentiate this term, now but again by using the same method, this v1 dash which is equal to t dash into ds by ds1. Why? Because we differentiate through s. If we differentiate through s, now what is the value of b1 dash? Clear? So what is the value of t dash? Just substitute. So this will be minus tau n1 vector, which is equal to kappa n vector. So from this simplify, we know the value of ds by ds1 in the previous page, previous. So that is kappa 1 by tau. Clear? So substitute the value of ds by ds1. So what we get? We get tau into tau 1 into n vector, kappa into kappa 1 into n vector. So we get the result. So in the very simplest form, we get the result, which is a tau tau 1, which is equal to kappa kappa 1. Now next is third property. That is again mathematical. If kappa is constant, then kappa 1 is constant. Right? So how we can prove this result? Now the given part is this. Kappa is constant. And what we want to prove that? We want to prove that kappa 1 is equal to constant. Right? So our purpose is to prove this result. This way. Now kappa is constant, then it means rho is constant. Why? Because they are reciprocal to each other. If rho is constant, then it means its derivative is 0, because derivative of constant term is equal to 0. Now we know that the value of ds1 by ds, which is tau by k, right? So that is written in the form of rho by sigma, because 1 by kappa is rho, 1 by tau is sigma. And this term is equal to ds1 by ds is tau by k1. Clear? If that is by equation number 3, and also we know that this is equation number by 5. So we get this is tau by kappa 1. So this tau and this tau cancel to each other. Then what we get? Kappa 1 is equal to kappa. If kappa 1 is equal to kappa, and what is kappa given? This is constant. If this is constant, so this is again a constant. Right? So by equation number 3, we get this result, and by equation number 5, we get this result of ds by ds1, and both are equal. From this, kappa 1 is equal to kappa, and because kappa is constant, so that's why kappa 1 is the constant. So this is the third property all the three properties of osculating sphere are very important, and at least one of them will be in the exam. Now, this result is again on the basis of osculating sphere, and this is very important result for exam, right? Now, in order to prove this result, we should remember the equation. Now, show that the curve lies on a sphere. Then, if and only if it satisfies this differential equation. So, it means if curve lie on a sphere, then this differential equation is satisfied. If this differential equation is satisfied, then the curve lie on a sphere. So first I take the curve lie on a sphere, then prove this result. Now if the curve lie on a sphere, then by definition we know that the radius of osculating sphere, which is equal to r square, which is equal to rho square plus sigma square rho dash square. So remember this result. So I already asked that these results are very important. So remember that result. Now differentiate this equation with respect to s. So simplest. So we differentiate this equation with respect to s. If we differentiate, then derivative of this term is 0 because it is constant, and its derivative is 2 times rho into rho dash, and its derivative is, so these contains a two term. First take its derivative, then take its derivative. So first its derivative is this, and then its derivative is 2 sigma sigma dash this. Clear? So our purpose is to find the equation that we already seen in the question. So in order to find the equation, divide by this term. If we divide by this term, then what we get? We get this is 0, this is 0, and this is rho by sigma, because we divide this term. So please see. So this is when we divide by this term, 2 and rho dash cancel to each other. So one here will be rho and here will be sigma. So it will be rho by sigma. Clear? And again from this and from this we get this term, which is sigma rho dash, and this is sigma dash into rho dash. Clear? So what is this? This is a nothing, but it is a derivative of sigma rho dash. It is a derivative of sigma rho dash that is written in the same form without changing. Now this is a derivative of this. These two equation is converted into one equation. So what is this equation? That is a given differential equation. So our first part is proved. What is our first part? Then first part is it satisfies this differential equation. Now converse part. Now in the converse part, the given is this differential equation is given. Now this differential is given, then written in this form and integrate. So in order to integrate, what we get? We get this rho square plus sigma rho dash whole square. This is constant. If it is constant and also positive, so take it is of this form a square. Now if a square, it implies this r square and a square are equal, right? Because this is r square. Now if they are equal, then it means it is independent from point on curve, because they are constant. So r is constant. So it means it is a, if they are constant, so it means it is a independent from the, it is a independent from the point on a curve. So it is a independent from the point on a curve. So in addition to this part, also we know that this C vector can be written in this form. We already done many properties, many equation questions. Now differentiate this with respect to S. So we get differentiate with respect to S. Now here we differentiate with respect to S. Now when we differentiate, we get this values. Because it is constant, so this derivative is 0. So from this term on simplification, by simplification, this term will be converted into this form. Clear? By using the value of n dash and b dash, then this equation is converted into this form. So this is a into b is equal to 0. Okay? So this is equal to this values, and this term, we know that this term is equal to 0. Then total this term is equal to 0. It means this C vector is constant vector. So we prove two results in this equation. Second result is C is constant. How we prove it? Take value of C in this equation, then differentiate with respect to C, simplify. Simplify, we get this equation. Now we know that the value of this equation is 0 by in the question. If value of this equation is 0, then total product is 0. If total product is 0, then it means dC by ds is equal to 0. It means C is a constant vector. So by proving this result, we get the converse part of the given question, which is very important and expected for examination. Now next, that is again very important and simple question. Now in this question, if the radius of spherical curvature is constant, clear, then prove the curve lies on the surface of sphere. It has a constant curvature. Okay? So that is repeated in a second time. So that we already done in the previous slide. Now next, spherical indicatrix or spherical image. So what is spherical indicatrix and spherical image? So just remember, just know that. Now this is a, suppose this is some curve. This is from this is some curve. So these are some curve. Right? So these are some curve, right? If this is some curve, right? This is some curve, and these are point on the curve. Suppose this is one point, this is second point, this is third point, and this is fourth point. Suppose, clear? So this is a point on the curve. Now taking unit tangent vector at these points. So unit tangent vector. So this is unit tangent vector of this line is, so of this form that is given, right? So this is unit tangent vector, right? So this is a unit tangent vector. Again this is a unit tangent vector. See the direction, okay? So this is a unit tangent vector. Also we know that the perpendicular to it is a normal vector. So it is a n1. So this is a principal normal at this point, and this is a again n1, n2 principal normal at this point, again n3 principal normal at this point, again n4. So this is a principal normal at this point. And similarly, the binormal, which is a this vector binormal b1, and this is a binormal b2, right? So here it is a b3, here it is a b3, here it is a b4. Yeah. So we get a curve. On that curve, we have point. At every point, it has unit tangent, it has a unit normal, it has a binormal at every point. Clear? So these are the unit vector. First concentrate on only unit vector. Now we find the locus of unit tangent. So remember, we find the locus of unit tangent. It means it is a unit tangent vector. It is a tangent vector with length unit. So what is locus? Locus, our purpose is spherical, to find the spherical indicatrix, the spherical image of tangent. So what is spherical image of tangent? Spherical image of tangent is a locus of unit tangent vector on this curve. Clear? So first we take this direction. For example, if I take this direction, so what is this direction? This direction is this, and we take the length 1 unit. Correct? This is T1. We take this red color, this direction of this tangent with length 1. Now, next, next I take with different color. So this is a this direction. Clear? So just take it as idea. So I take this is on this direction. So which is a this different direction of unit length. So approximate. Remember, it is a unit length. Again, after that, we take the third length. We take this T3. So this is T3, and we take the unit length. So this is a unit length. Okay? Now we take this direction and so on. So what is this direction? So this direction is, if this direction is suppose this, and it is of unit length. Now taking the locus of these points, clear? So what is locus of these points? So when we take the locus of this point, it will be a curve, yeah, it will be a circle, clear, of unit radius, and this circle is called spherical image. This is a basically sphere, not circle, so that is called a spherical image. So that is a locus of a unit of a tangent. So that is a spherical image of tangent. If we replace unit tangent by principal normal on same manner, in that case it is called spherical image of principal normal. If we replace the unit tangent, their tangent, by binormal, then in that case it is called a spherical image of a binormal. So we have three kind of spherical image. One in case of unit tangent, second in case of binormal, and third is case of a principal normal. Clear? So all the definition of these are almost on same line of action. Now just read the definition to understand. Clear? So what is the spherical indicatrix of a tangent? Now we are talking about a tangent, right? If tangent is replaced by principal normal, then we are talking about principal normal. If it is replaced by binormal, then it is a spherical indicatrix of binormal. Now, what is this? It is a locus of, what is this? It is a locus of a point whose position vector is equal to unit tangent. Yeah, that we already discussed. It is a locus of a point whose position vector is equal to unit tangent t vector at any point of given curve. This is called spherical indicatrix of the tangent. So remember, so this is called a spherical indicatrix of the tangent. So what is this? It is a locus or locus. The locus of a point. Which point? Whose position vector is equal to unit tangent. That is called spherical indicatrix of the tangent. If unit tangent is replaced by principal normal, then it is called a spherical indicatrix of principal normal. If unit vector is replaced by binormal, so in that case, it is called a spherical indicatrix of the binormal. So these are the definition. If you understand the definition, then you can understand the equations. You can understand their properties. If you understand the definition, you will understand everything. Whether it is a question, whether it is a properties. Now, what is our first property? Our first property, find the curvature and torsion of a spherical indicatrix of tangent of principal normal and binormal. So that is our purpose. So we get three curves. Three. One is for tangent, second is for binormals, third is for principal normal. Our purpose is to find the curvature and torsion of these three curves, these three equations. Now, that we will find in the next lecture. Otherwise, it will be a heavy dose.